So as I said from the first couple of trailers we saw, the day before is a scam. And that has come true today because they have officially delisted the game from Steam and they have apparently closed down their development studio. Fntastic is no more. This was obviously going to be the result at some point. It was just a guess of how long they would drag it out for. But they've clearly seen the profit that's come in a very short amount of time from players. They've taken the money and they've run. And this is probably going to save them from the potential, like the possibility of a lot of different lawsuits. They are still liable in my opinion. I'm no lawyer or anything like that. But I would say they are still liable because if you've played over 2 hours of the game, you are no longer eligible for a refund on Steam. So they've padded out a lot of the gameplay stuff to try and make it take 2 hours for you to get into the game. Obviously so that you get past that refund stage, so that you can't refund the game. And now all of a sudden, only 4 days after launch, they have closed down their development studio. But this all started off with their trailers, and they just kept messing around. Oh, we've got this mega event coming, and it never actually turned up, and all these different delays. And then they said, oh, we've got trademark issues. Someone's copyrighted the day before. We're going to have to change the name. And then all of a sudden, no, there's no issues with trademark anymore. We're able to release the game as the day before. There was never a problem with that in the first place. They just never filed to actually trademark the name the day before. And when they released the game, a lot of people did dig in and found out that the entire game was pretty much just an asset dump. They went onto the Game Engine store and bought a load of the asset packs, used them and changed them around a little bit, because if you look at the, as soon as they released the game, they deleted a load of footage off their channels, like YouTube channels and stuff. But if you look at the trailers they did keep up, I don't know if they're still available to watch now, but after they released the game and deleted a load of coverage they had for the game, they still had these couple of trailers. And in one of them, you can see a pharmacy. And the first building I came across in the game was a pharmacy. And that is because they had barely anything developed in this game world. There was pretty much nothing in there to explore. I'm going to say a good 98 or 99% of buildings in the game were not even enterable. You had no way to access these buildings. So people exposed them for asset dumping, just buying a load of asset packs, chucking them into the game and maybe changing a couple of things around here and there. They also put out a message to all of their fans and haters shortly before the game released, and they said it's essentially a love letter to the fans that have supported them, kind of like what DICE and EA did with Battlefield 2042, and we know exactly how that launch went. And they also said to all the haters that have said this is a scam and stuff, here's the release of the game, we've made this game for you too. But what they fail to realise is they have also misled everybody with the actual genre of the game, because they were always promoting it. Even in their trailers, it states that it's a survival MMO, and it was nothing but an extraction shooter, and a really, really poor one at that. And I've had a lot of people sending me links and talking to me about this game because they found out it's closed down, and I want to show you guys some appreciation because ever since I did my first video for the game after it released, I uninstalled the game, refunded it, and I haven't looked back since. But because you guys have brought it up, I felt like doing a video just to get my opinion out there on exactly what's going on. And the game released on the 7th of December 2023. They were charging £33.50 for it. I'm going to round it down to £33 a copy. Because there is this little thing, it's not 100% accurate, but typically what you're able to do with a game to get a rough estimate, a completely rough estimate of how many sales there's been for a video game on Steam, is what you do is you grab the review count and you times it by 30. So if we take the review count, there's around 19,350 reviews. You times that by 30, that's about 580,500 copies of the game sold. And then you multiply that by the cost of the game, so by 33, and they've made over £19 million. That is just in the span of 4 days. They've made over $20 million, we'll put it that way. And people were saying they were up and running over 5 mil. Well, they made a lot more than that in a really short amount of time. And they didn't deserve any of it. They even dragged NVIDIA through all of this. IGN kept posting about it. They managed to somehow manipulate these companies into thinking that it's actually a real product. And I know technically it was a real game, they released it, it was playable, so on and so forth. But it was completely misleading from the get-go because it was nothing even like the trailers. They weren't even close to being anything like the trailers. But they managed to manipulate Nvidia and IGN, pull them on board to get all the promotion and everything like that. And then they released the game, took everyone's money, and 4 days later we have a statement from them on Twitter, and it reads, "Today we announced the closure of Fntastic Studio. Unfortunately, the day before has failed financially." I don't see how 20 million is a financial failure, but it says we lack the funds to continue, which is complete and utter bullshit. All income received is being used to pay off debts to our partners. Okay, whatever. We invested all our efforts, resources, and man hours into the development of the day before, which was our first huge game. And also your last, because I don't think you'll be let into the community again, because not only is the day before, not only has that been a scam, but all of their previous titles have been abandonware. They release them, they update them once or twice, and then they move on to their next project. They are known for doing that. But it carries on to say, we really wanted to release new patches to reveal the full potential of the game, which is bollocks again, because they haven't really developed anything. They've just changed a couple of nodes within the asset packs that have been released by other people. And it says, but unfortunately, we don't have the funding to continue the work. And I did a lot of videos on this game. I've made them all private now, but I did videos in the past showing people why it's a scam. And the fact that this game was basically just it took inspiration from things like The Last of Us, The Division 2, SnowRunner. Someone even pointed out to me, and I put pictures in a video, the gas station was a complete rip-off from another game. And I don't even think anyone saw the gas station in this game, because they changed it all. They sold this game as a survival MMO. That's what they promoted it as. Their marketing campaigns were around a survival MMO. They released it as an extraction shooter, and the moment you get into the game, you do a quest, you get 3,000 currency, you don't even see that currency. Someone told me in the comments it goes into your stash, which makes no sense. And $3,000 for a quest. They wanted between 1.2 and 1.9 million credits for sports cars or supercars within a fucking zombie apocalypse. But it says they really wanted to release new patches, reveal the full potential of the game, but unfortunately they didn't have the funding. They said, it's important to note that we didn't take any money from the public during the development of the day before. There were no pre-orders or crowdfunding campaigns. We worked tirelessly for 5 years, pouring our blood, sweat and tears into the game. And the thing that annoys me the most is they haven't taken into consideration, they haven't given it a second thought about the developers that actually put their blood, sweat and tears into a game. They go through crunch, they get laid off and all that. They've basically taken the piss out of the entire gaming community, developers, publishers, and gamers themselves. But just because you don't take money beforehand, when you release your product, then take money and run with it, that's still a scam. They're just trying to do everything they can to get themselves out of it. But they, as far as I'm aware, because I am no lawyer, as far as I'm aware, they are still liable for lawsuits. It's misleading, it's an actual scam. They've taken your money and then closed the product down 4 days later, and they have nothing to prove that they had a lack of funding. If anything, it all goes against them because they made so much money from selling the game. And it says, at the moment, the future of the day before and prop night is unknown, but the servers will remain operational. The servers were never operational in the beginning because what they did was had a maximum server capacity of 32 players. They opened up 150 servers across all regions, which totals a maximum capacity of 4,800 people across their entire game. They knew how many people were interested in their game, and they didn't hire enough servers. They never had enough servers to reach that capacity. And they've said the servers are going to remain operational, but one thing is, you now cannot buy the game. There is no option to purchase the game on Steam. So if you're trying to buy the game, you physically can't. If you own the game, then yeah, you have the option to log into the servers if you can. But most people, especially the ones that have sat there with over 2 hours worth of game time trying to get into the game, they're sitting there with a game that they can no longer do anything with. And the developers have run off with their money. And it says, we apologize if we didn't meet your expectations. We did everything within our power, but unfortunately we miscalculated our capabilities. Creating games is an incredibly challenging endeavor. It's a load of shit. They knew exactly what they were getting into. The two people that always did their IRL videos and stuff, they knew exactly what they were up to. And there was always back and forth between Fntastic, which are the developers, and Mytona, which are the publishers. You had, each company was calling each other out, saying there were problems from the other company. They've done everything they can to hype the game up and let people down time and time again. And it says, we are grateful to everyone who supported us during these difficult years. It's been a fantastic journey over the past 8 years. Then they've got 2015 opening of the studio, 2017, release of The Wild 8, 2018, release of Dead Dozen, also 2018, release of Radiant 1, 2021, release of Prop Night, and 2023, release of The Day Before. They can scrap release of The Day Before because it doesn't matter if they released it, they've closed it down 4 days later. But they're basically saying that they have a lot of money to pay out, all the income that they've received from the games being used to pay off their debts. So they've basically taken from the gaming community, gamers worldwide, they've taken money from them to pay off the money they owe to other companies, which is amazing. To know that developers use their potential customers like that. That's fucking brilliant. But not only that, they're saying that they wanted to pay everyone off and everything. Everyone that worked on this game, from what they said themselves, were volunteers. And then they had people that were dealing with the trailers and stuff, and they weren't actually paying the people that they said they would pay. And if you look at other companies that have had a similar outcome with the release of their game, so I'm looking at CD Projekt Red with the launch of Cyberpunk, they actually said everyone's entitled to a refund, get your money back, we're sorry, we're going to work to improve on the game, and they did exactly that. It might have taken them years, but they eventually got the game to a very, very good position. Whereas Fntastic, on the other hand, have taken this money, they're going to do whatever they want. They're probably on vacation right now. They've booked flights, they've dipped to another country to go have a 2-week holiday or something. These idiots that worked at this company, that led the company, should I say, have absolutely zero intention of refunding anyone. They have zero intention of putting the game back on the market. They had zero intention to update the game and actually make it better. And you could tell that from the get-go. There were texture glitches, there were people sliding around, there was currency that had no description of what it did, like no explanation of where it went or anything like that. There were just a bunch of NPCs chucked in these little vendor slots inside this hub thing. They created an extraction game with a fucking gym so that you could build up your stamina, with a sauna so you could recover your health. Why are you going to be doing that when you're back in your base camp? But not only that, you die in the game, they take everything off you because it's an extraction shooter, obviously, and they tell you, oh, we give you financial support, here's a t-shirt and some joggers. That's all they do. So they don't financially support you when you die in the game. They give you some clothing and you have to go get everything again, but they tell you it's financial support. I'm pretty sure these developers, the people highest up in this development company, just have finance on their heads. The only thing inside their skull is the word finance. Everything is financial to them. It's not even been a single week, and they've already closed the game down. There is no they're closing it down. They've closed it down. They've even changed their bio description on Twitter. It says, we're grateful to everyone who supported us during these difficult years. It's been a fantastic journey over the past 8 years. They never even tried with this game. There is no way they spent 5 years changing a bit of the coding within asset packs. And a lot of people called this out, and people were still gullible and thought it was a good thing to buy, and they spent their money on it and put over 2 hours into it. And the only thing people can do now is say, you should refund everyone. You should refund. Oh, give everyone their refunds. They're not going to. I think the best thing people can do is go to the Steam store page, report the game to Steam, and if you don't know how to do that, if you go to the Steam store page for The Day Before, you scroll down to underneath on the right-hand side where you've got, it states as an MMO, online PvP, then you'll have the languages and the audio and stuff the game's available in. Right at the bottom where you've got all the links for visiting the website, viewing discussions and stuff, underneath that you can report this product. If everybody reports the product on Steam, there's a possibility, I don't know how big the chance is, but there is a possibility that Steam will get involved and they will refund everyone. And then it's just going to cause them even more shit. So it's going to be even more funny to see what they come up with next, because they're going to need more money because they've spent the money they've made from the game. And I'm going to guess the reason that it's taken them 4 days and they didn't do it the day after is because I'm going to take a random guess that it's like a 72-hour payout system from Steam or something like that. I don't know exactly how it works, but that's my guess because it took them 4 days. 4 days after they released the game. Everyone waited years for it. 4 days later, they've delisted the game from the Steam store page. You cannot buy the game anymore. It's an absolute fucking joke, but I thought I'd come along with my opinions because I've had a few people talking to me asking what I think about it. So there we go, The Day Before, released 4 days ago and is officially over already. What I want you guys to do is let me know your thoughts and stuff about this in the comments. I will see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.